Yeah, I have not experienced the drama in Linux, the toxicity in Linux. By the way, I unsubscribe from most Linux YouTubers because of the toxicity and drama. Greetings, aliens, robots, and whoever is watching. I am having an amazing little fun thing for you guys and girls today. We are going to react to people hating me. I made a video. I gave up on the Linux desktop after 25 years. I don't know how that is as a surprise. I've been really vocal in almost all my videos about me not thinking Linux have a chance on the desktop. I didn't say that everyone should give up on the Linux desktop. I said I gave up on the Linux desktop. It's a personal thing. Good old Esnik, well, he can't shut up when it's about Linux, let's be honest. He made a video about it. I haven't watched it. I honestly don't see a point to it because I've known Esnik for years and I kinda know most of his debate arguments. We had them many times in live streams, in Discords and stuff like that. So I don't feel that video is for me. I think it's amazing he did it. I wish more people would do it, to be honest. But yeah, we have had this talk plenty of times. So I feel this video is more for people that see my video and want an alternative viewpoint. But what I do like, I just woke up here and I looked at the comment section in his video because I do find it funny. Because people will say shit in there that they probably would not say on my own comment section. I have read one or few of them. So let's go in and dive in and see what are people saying about me when you think I'm not listening or not watching. I always find that funny. I am dyslexic. I will read it out a little bit crazy. So we get a concerned or smiley or whatever it is from Bob down here. Yeah, well, it is what it is. And then we have like this dude here, and he's been, or he or she, I don't know who the fuck it is, has been actually typing in my comment section also. I find Kent a bit negative towards the Linux. This is the one I responded to. I find Kent a bit negative towards Linux. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, you kind of are. So already here, and this could end up being a long video, by the way. I've been called negative for being critical. I'm not telling people not to use Linux. I'm just talking from my own experiences with Linux and the Linux community. And what people have told me over the last 25 years, because I feel I'm one of the few people in the Linux community that actually are talking almost daily with non-Linux people about Linux. I don't just sit in a vacuum and talk about Linux to other Linux nerds. I go out and ask people why, how, what could we do, what is your thoughts about Linux. So a lot of my opinions about Linux is formed in a sense by listening to other people and taking that information in and listen to what is the majority saying. I hear a lot, not a lot, but I hear a few people say gaming under Linux is great. It can be. But I hear more people say it's not. So by logical means, that should mean that, well, most people or the majority of people don't think Linux gaming is great. Because that's the vote that I hear. Linux people, they tend to hear, oh, Linux is great for one person. And then they discard the hundreds of other people that have a problem. Or maybe 10 other people that have a problem. Where I'm a little bit the opposite. I'm like, okay, you think gaming on Linux is great. That's amazing. That's fine. We can talk about that. But I'd rather hear why these people don't think it's great. Why is it not great? What can we do? What is your requirement? I want to talk to these people over here. Because these are the ones that we need to convert, not the ones that already like gaming under Linux. Or anything under Linux. They are already using it. It's these people over here we need to talk to. But apparently that's... but it seems to me that way. Again, I've been called negative, and it's here's the thing, the negativity thing is the only people that call me negative are people that are massively Linux fans. People that are neutral or just stumble into Linux or new to Linux, rarely do I hear them call me toxic. It's always people that are massively fans of Linux because I'm basically criticizing something they like, and I kind of get that. He focused too much on the negative side of the community and Linux itself, in my opinion. Well, as I said down here, if the community was not so toxic and lying to people about Linux so much, I would be the happiest person ever. I just don't like the bullshit, and I have a habit of calling it out sadly. And it is a character fault of me. I do this way more than I should, and I kind of can't shut my mouth about it, and I know that. If I see people blatantly lying to other people or bullshitting other people, I call them out on it. And I don't care if it's a CEO or if it's a janitor. I believe that bullshitting people is a negative for everyone around. If it's done in fun and as a comedic or sarcastic thing, I get it. But if you're bullshitting people to get them over to your viewpoints, that's a negative to you, your viewpoints and ideas, and to the person that you're trying to convince. So I called it out. I can't stand it. And then we have good old Dragon Ball that's actually banned on my channel. This might be the only thing that I have ever said that you have ever said that I fully agree with. Thank you. Another one down here. This is a lengthy one. Windows be Windows, Mac be Mac, but Linux and the BSD makes me so angry. It's the vibe I get from normies and people who just want to live and not get caught up fixing all the mistakes made by fanatics, defensive gatekeeping engineering that insist is part of the design pro get good. Yeah, that's I couldn't agree more. Linux is kept a lot by, I'll not call them fanatic, but the hardcore fanboys, because they find some form of elitism with using Linux, and they feel that if Linux gets too easy, well, they can't use Linux as a showcase of their intelligence and their know-how, because it's really important that you know how smart they are. And people like that, they have some character flaws they need to work on, if you ask me. It's not a good character trait if you want people to know how smart and intelligent you are, because most people that want that are actually on the lower end of the bell curve when it comes to intelligence. That's just what study shows, that people that boast about how smart and clever they are and get good, they are not good. I get it, but if the community frustrates you to no end and there's no use causing up a storm and trying to change their minds, true. There's many other hobbies and jobs that are more fulfilling, but economic forces, then I actually read this one, then they go into like a little bit of a rant about working conditions and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. This one here is just me, I'm leaving the cold. It's just me being a little bit sarcastic. Yeah, boring, this is a good one. I'm close to giving up. I don't think Hank, I know this girl, I know this person. Oh, sorry. I'm close to giving up too. I finally had a really nice Linux setup with Manjaro going, and then they decide to move hardware support for AMD's video encoder decoder, which you definitely want for power efficiency on laptops. Oh, I didn't know that. So in my slowly getting closer to being able to run Linux full-time goal, I'm now even further away from the goal, and it's entirely not my doing. So now, on top of everything that was worse compared to Windows already, I have to deal with Ubuntu's obsession with snap packages. They made it, man. It's an Ubuntu technology. It's like saying that Ubuntu is fanatic and pushing the Ubiquity installer. The only reason why people have a problem with snap packages is that they like Flatpaks better. You can remove snap packages for Ubuntu. If you're a smart, intelligent Linux user, you know how to uninstall and remove snap from your system. And you know how to get alternative repos with dep files in it. I don't get this, and it comes from people that say that they are Linux experts. If you're a Linux expert, snap is not an issue for you. You just remove this shit. Manjaro poor maintenance and then removal essential components from the package. Arch lack of good online installers. OpenSUSE's tendency to implode on me with updates and need a lot of manual setup. I haven't had it implode in a long time, but I get what he or she is coming from. Debbie not having a nice KDE rolling distro to my liking. Fedora using technologies I do not like to use or I am not ready for yet, such as Wayland and Pipe. There's some good points here, and I can keep going on. I'm now once again homeless on Linux after finally having had something I was enjoying before. I still can't probably remote desktop into my machine the same way you can on Windows, since that does not exist on Linux. I think he means like GUI remote into it. And I'm still running into some frustrating driver issues. Why is it so hard to have a distro that just keep getting updates and newer packages that test them before they do so? Has KDE and all the drivers I need automatically configured, which was massively plus from the Manjaro team, even though I can do it manually. It saved me a lot of hassle with how often I install and my instances, how often I reinstall and my instances on having an offline copy variable. Okay, I get it. While having a KDE-based ISO, I can preserve an ideal customization. Okay, so he's customizing the desktop, making a backup ISO. I get it. For a while, Manjaro ticked every single one of those boxes, and now it doesn't. Hey, I get it. Sounds like Linux is not of you. One question. Why do you reinstall often? Habit I learned young. I like a clean. Okay. They go into it here. Yeah, I get it. When people have these kind of... So here's the thing. If your name is like Mr. Punk ass fuck and stuff like that, do you honestly believe people are going to take you seriously? The first thing I do when I read comments on my own videos is I look at the username. If the username is something, you know, they just fucking headbutted the keyboard and then that's the name, or it's something like this, I disregard everything they say because they have to be a troll. Like, how can you be taken seriously? And then, if they have an okay name, like James have up there, did you make an effort to use a normal, or to put in a avatar, or just using Google's avatar? Because if you're not using an avatar, it more than likely indicate that it's just a throwaway account. So you're not using your main account, so that means that you're being a dickhead with that account. You're probably using that account to be a dickhead. And if you're using an avatar, is it something as... let's be a 5-year-old like this down here. So here's the thing. It's kind of ironic considering Linux have never been in a better spot than now. That's true. Going from 0% of the desktop market to let's just say 3% of the desktop market in 30 years, that's a percentage per year or per decade. If you look at it from an objective viewpoint as a growth model for how successful a thing is, you will not bet your hard-earned money on it. So if Linux was a stock and you only got a 3% return in 30 fucking years, you would not have invested in Linux. And when 11 seems to be going down the drain, no, Windows 11 is in the top 3 or 4 most adopted Windows releases over all Windows releases. Meaning that it is on track with every Windows release. The first years or so, most people don't install it. They only install it when they get new hardware. Most people don't just automatically upgrade the operating system that run the Windows. It's only Linux people that do that. Most Windows people upgrade the operating system when they buy new hardware. So the adoption rate always is a little bit behind. MS collect data, sure, but he did not mention Discord. No, it's probably the worst of them. Yeah, so is Steam. Steam is collecting way more fucking data than Windows. Google products is collecting way more data than Windows. Heck, YouTube is collecting more data than Windows. I get it, I agree. They collect your voice data, everything you type, just about everything. Yeah, and still, Linux users bitching and moaning about Microsoft are still using fucking Discord on Linux. They're not angry at Discord, but they're angry at Microsoft. It's that hypocrisy I can't deal with. Talk about Discord integration, I will not want that, but I do. I talk to a lot of people all over the world on Discord. People want to use Discord. Why should I tell I think I have about 100 or more than 100 people on my Discord. Why should I tell them to not use Discord just because I don't like it, but they do? Why should I tell people that want to talk to me that either they do what I want or they can get the fuck out of here? When I'm the only one having, or maybe one of the few ones having a problem with Discord, of all of the people that's in there. I've had my Discord for many years, way before I started this channel. I have a lot of gamer friends I talk to in there. Why should I go and tell them, fuck Discord, if you want to talk to me, use this thing? How arrogant, self-righteous, stupid is that? That's not how you work with other people in this life. You adapt to the situation that you are in. If you don't have the power to dictate the situation, you have to adapt. I don't have the power to tell all my gaming friends if we are going to game that, oh, I can't use Discord because it's proprietary. Then we know what they will be. You know what? Fuck you. Game with yourself. And then I can sit in the corner and pick my belly button. And it's one app. There's other voice com apps. A better approach to what companies will help. Not bitching and whining. Who likes to listen to that? Well, it's doing good work or God's work. No. This is what drives me the most fucking batshit crazy about these kind of people. The same person is bitching and moaning about telemetry, user data, everything that, you know, you have no privacy. You don't fucking own your own fucking games on Steam. Steam can lock down tomorrow and say, fuck you. Steam is taking the exact same fucking telemetry and even more than the things he just talked about, but because they're supporting Linux, they're the good people. Where are your fucking consistency? Where is it? If you hate Discord for what they're doing, Steam is doing almost the exact same thing. I don't know if Steam is taking your voice thingy, but I'm sure that they are fucking cataloging what you're typing. At least in their forums and stuff like that. Why are you not angry at that? Why are you not angry at you not owning your own games? And you're in the mercy of Steam? Why are you not angry at how predatorial Steam is towards companies and stuff like that? Because Valve is giving you gaming under Linux, so therefore you are blind to that shit. You see why I'm everything is becoming a walled garden, except Linux is the same. This person right now, right here, and one of the, another one down the line, they are now being gatekeeping and walled guarding in Linux. Because they are like, either you do as we say, doing it our way, or you get the fuck out of here. That's gatekeeping and being a walled garden. You want Steam on your Windows box plus $100 US or us, I don't know. Pay us $100. It would not surprise me if something similar were to happen. CPM just another spying hardware junk and a vulnerability. Him probably being an open source loving person. Have you looked at the source code for CPM? It's open source, it's BSD licensed or MIT licensed. You can go in there and see if there is spyware in it. There's not. This again shows a lack of consistency within these kind of people. Knowledge about what the fuck they're actually talking about. And the mentality of it's not okay if they do it, but it's okay if people that are nice to me do it. So it's like having two girlfriends. One that slaps him in the face all the time, he's bitching and moaning about. And then have another one that slaps him in the face all the time, but fucks him every Sunday. So because I'm getting fucked every Sunday, it's okay to be slapped in the face all the time. That's what you will call an abusive relationship, by the way. Then we have good old Tracking Ball. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why the fuck he wants to call. Yeah, anyway. The year of the Linux desktop, last in my Air Force. Just another in a long line of clickbait videos from Ken. No, clickbait is if you make a video or the title of the video has nothing to do with the content. Me giving up on the Linux desktop after 25 years is exactly what I talked about. It's exactly what I've talked about. It's not click. It would be like Windows is the best system ever, and then I talked about why I'm giving up on the Linux desktop. That's clickbait. Watch me install a graphic card, and then I'm talking about why I'm giving up on the Linux desktop. That's clickbait. What it is exactly what it is. I decided to stop pushing Linux on the desktop now. And I want to explain my viewpoint on it. So when people are watching my videos and like, why are you not talking so much about Linux anymore, the Linux desktop? This is why. And then we have here, let the Ken guy alone. He's an idiot YouTube troll. No, again, this is coming, and you can see this from the logo here. He's probably an arts guy. Just because I don't agree with something, or I'm critical about something you like, you can't just say I'm a troll. I did not make that video to angry the Linux community. I did not make that video to make people go nuts in comment sections, stuff like that. I made the video to explain the change that is going to happen on my channel. AKA, I'm probably going to do less and less Linux content, most likely only in reaction form as I'm doing here, and then a few videos about Linux here and there, and then move over to other technology adventures that I'm doing, both work-wise and personally. I hope you both lose. Oh, I love this. Thanks for the comment. Then we have, I talked to this person before also. I think the next time Ken's make a video about Linux, he should type in uname-o in the terminal to remind himself of the real name. And behind the name is decade-old philosophies that is the root of everything. And that it's something that cannot be disregarded overnight. Yeah, so here's the thing. Philosophy Linux is rooted in is a guy could not afford a proper Unix system, so he made his own. Not to combat proprietary software, not to say fuck you to Unix and Linux, or so not Linux, Windows and Mac OS. No, I need something. I couldn't afford it, so I made it. Which is a philosophy most engineers have. Oh, I can't afford this rig, I can't afford this furniture. I'm just making it myself. That's the philosophy. The only philosophy that is rooted in stuff is the design of the kernel being a monolithic kernel. He was really advocate of having a monolithic kernel. He likes monolithic kernels. This again shows the lack of understanding and knowledge about Linux history And Linux in general, what he's talking about is the GNU project, the Free Software Foundation. I don't give a fuck about those because they are batshit crazy motherfuckers. I could care less what people use. I use Linux and couldn't be happier, and that's, again, amazing. And all my hardware that I have and laptop works on Linux out of the box, but of course everything I ever bought in the past has just worked on Linux, period. And I had laptops and I had situations where that happens. But I will say this, and like I said in my video, most of the time for the things I buy, the things I use, that has not been the case. And it's not the case, like I said again in the video, that yes, I can get the sound to work in, let's say, my headset. But I also bought this headset because of a lot of extra features this headset had. Or have, sorry, it's not dead. And I can't use them under Linux because they are software driven. And I bought this headset because of those features. It was like this headset or another headset, but because of the features this headset had or have, I bought this. But those features don't work under Linux. So if I was like, okay, I'm buying a headset with the mind of the operating system I'm running and not about the features I want out of a headset, yeah, I could buy a headset that works under Linux. But why should the operating system dictate what you can use and not use? Why should it not be that I like this thing, I want this thing, therefore I'm buying this thing? Instead of, I really like this thing, oh, but it's not work under my operating system, so I have to buy this thing that I really don't actually want. Again, it's a little bit, yeah. I learned a lesson in the early 90s when running OS2. Buy hardware that's proven. Yeah, so again, this is another gatekeeping tactic, another really weak argument towards Linux system. Oh, just buy stuff that works under Linux. Again, like I said before. But what if the stuff that I want is not working under Linux? Why should I compromise just to say I run Linux when nobody gives a fuck about you running Linux? Oh, we have good old Bruce up here. Well, I see Ken's ADHD ID LMAQ syndrome has kicked in this video. I did not watch it until now, and all I have to say is, okay then. 9% of the video is we are going to save a stuff that will not and never happen, like what most Karens of the world would say, it's your fault. It is. And no, that's not what Karen says. Karen's are bitching and moaning about not getting special treatment in Starbucks, or if someone is not picking up their fucking dog sick in the park, and they are going and yelling and screaming, calling the counselor and stuff like that. That's a Karen. Most things in this world, I'm going to burst your old bubbles here. Most things in this world, in your life, that are happening to you, you are part of the problem. So think about every negative things that have happened in your world. To some degree, I'm not saying it's 50-50, but to some degree, you could have avoided it in some way. Bad relationships, well, you were part of that relationship. Bad employment, you were part of that employment. You could have gotten out further, you could have done more, or earlier, you could have done more research before we said yes to the job. There are only like, you know, if people are getting mocked, attacked, bullied and stuff like that, yeah, that's probably out of your control. Linux can do a shit ton to make it easier for companies to work with Linux. One of the biggest one is to say we don't like proprietary software, but we understand we have to work with proprietary software. And then do what Ubuntu, SUSE and Red Hat is doing, is finding ways to allow that to coexist within the open source ecosystem. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying you're part of the problem with Linux. That's it. Analytic Mind. Glad you're back. I've been... Oh my god, yeah, here's the fucking wall of text again. Must be respect for the level-headed response. I agree with the ladder analogy was not well thought out. It is. It's a foundation. The ladder's just represented a foundation. Could I found an active foundation of a house and showed a shitty foundation and a good foundation? Yeah, most people don't know what a good foundation is, but they know what having a proper fucking ladder is. You know, they know that if you're not using the ladder in the correct way, you will fall on your ass and be penetrated by a fucking hammer on the floor. I'm still not sure what it's meant to convey, that Linux don't have a good foundation. We don't have good building blocks. We don't have streamlined pipelines to make things work. We are working against each other. Everyone is making a new ladder, a new foundation. That Linux is patchwork of components, okay, That's been Linux entire history. That's, again, a really bad argument. Oh, this car blows up once in a while when you're driving it. Yeah, that's been ever since it's been released. You just have to deal with it. You just have to deal with this car has always been put together by duct tape and bungee cords. Just accept it. That's how this car is built. And it's not going to change. Yeah, if it's not going to change, then people are not going to use it. It's that fucking simple. That Linux only works to make holes. Yeah, one thing only. Oh, yeah, make it. Okay, yeah, that's obvious not the case. That's not the case. He's not understanding it at all. Linux was the tool to make the holes. The drilling machine. It can do other things than making holes, but in this instance, we were just using a simplified version, making a hole to make it more easily understandable for people. Again, drilling machine, cordless equipment. It could have been a lot of things I could have put in there. It could have been a pencil. So people that are, in my experience, people that are diving in to the okay, it's not exactly what you're saying with this thing. They're going into the minute little fucking micro detail about a thing, an argument. They are doing it because they don't have a counter argument that's worthwhile. So they are finding the inconsistencies in places where it don't matter. Nobody gives a fuck about if it was a drill or a pencil. The idea is that Linux is focusing on only a single track, a single thing, and hoping that will fix the Linux desktop, aka the desktop environment. And they are not really focusing on what people actually want. Better integration and blah blah blah, a better foundation. And companies have said that over and over and over again. So like, that analogy is not that good. The drill is not that good. The drill analogy. No, but if you have just a little bit of a brain here, you kind of get what I'm coming from. It's not a alien concept here that the whole ladder thing was to show people that Linux is focusing on one thing when everyone else wanted something else. How is that not understandable? That's obviously not the case. It's a complete OS. No, Linux technically is the kernel, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The dick was focused too much on the desktop environment. Okay, and? Yeah, that's the problem. People don't have a problem. So when I've talked to new people to Linux for over 20 years, they don't talk about the desktop. Some do, but most people don't talk about the desktop environment. They are, why is this not working? Why is this not working? Why can't I go buy this, plug it in, and it's automatically working? That's the criticism I hear from people not using Linux anymore. Windows and Mac do that as well. No, they work on the kernel, the user land, and they are working together as a unit to do that. They are one company, of course. They don't have all of the fragmentation on the back ends. They are, Windows and Mac OS are making tools that makes it easier for hardware vendors and software companies to support Windows and Mac. Kind of a little bit what, Proton is for Linux to go that route. That's Valve making it easier for game companies to support gaming under Linux. Everything is going user-friendly. Yeah, what's the problem with that? So there's this focus on power users. Well, power users is the minority. Again, this is a really fucking snowflakey mindset, is that in society, the minority should have the power. No. The majority. I'm sad to say, but that's how it works. That's how we have built a society as we have it today. That's also why you see Red Hat Enterprise Linux not having a traditional desktop distribution, because that's not their customers. Are there a few group of people using Red Hat Enterprise Linux as a desktop to game on and stuff like that? Yes. So what he's saying here, Analytical Mind, is that they should fuck off the server market and focus on the few little people that are gaming under Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Ken is a bit of a puzzle. He repeatedly complains about toxicity. He's part of it, apparently. In the Linux community, which I have yet to experience to a degree where it wouldn't bother me. Give it time. And I've been in the community for 3 years. Yeah, this is the problem. 3 years. You're still in the honeymoon phase. If the toxicity really were that prevalent, I think I'll have experienced it by now. No, it took me 10 plus years to experiencing it. Honestly, it took me making this channel for me to experiencing it. Up till now, when I made this channel, I've been part of the Linux community, but I've not been active, or I was active, but I've not been this an active part of the Linux community up till I made this channel. So if this channel is 4 years old, let's just say it's 5 years old. to make the math better. For 20 years, I did not see the toxicity because I was a part of the Linux community. I was engaging with the Linux community, but really, really, really sparingly. Right now, I'm dealing with the Linux community every day, all the time, for video making, comment section, forums, research, and all that shit. Now I'm starting to see it because I'm getting exposed to it all the time. That's the difference. Of the many Linux YouTubers, I have unsubscribed from only a couple of them because of the drama. So he's fucking just like, yeah, I have not experienced the drama in Linux, the toxicity in Linux. By the way, I unsubscribe from most Linux YouTubers because of the toxicity and drama. Okay. Okay. And ironically, Kent's channel is one of them. Yeah, I'm glad you're not... Yeah, I'm glad you're not here anymore. I'm glad you're not here anymore. Another contradiction, he says that the Linux community should not bitch and complain, and yet his video seems like more bitching and complaining. Again, the only ones that call my videos bitching and complaining are people that don't like what I'm saying. I would really like to know where this hippie, communist, fascist Linux community exists. You just explained it. You just unsubscribe because of the drama EA toxicity within Linux YouTubers. Where if you mention proprietary software, you get crucified. You do. I have had people saying to me, I will unsubscribe if you're using Ubuntu. Why are you promoting Snap Package? Don't you know X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 proprietary backend and stuff like that? It happens. Just because it's the same mentality that Esnik has. Oh, I have never seen this or a virus on Linux, so therefore it must not exist. I've never seen a fucking polar bear in real life, so they must not. I have not even seen Esnik in real life. I've only seen a picture or a video feed. It could be a fake. You know, it could be one of those deep fakes. So Esnik don't exist. But most are practical people and accept a compromise with proprietary software. No, they bitch and moan about open source and stuff like that while using proprietary software, and they're not really talking much about it because it goes against what they're bitching and moaning about with proprietary software. I, for one, will not mind paying for a good, and I mean good, version of LibreOffice. That's fine, that's amazing. I've seen virtual in Linux forums over the years, but never anything to be concerned about. Just ignore it and move on. Again, this is not addressing the problem. So he accepts that there is a problem. And he has the mindset, well, it's not affecting me. So I disregard the many people that have stopped using Linux because of the toxicity. YouTubers stopped doing Linux because of the toxicity, to some extent. Let's disregard them because it's not affecting me. So I'm just moving away. These guys over here are bullying this girl, but it's not affecting me. Let's just move away. I actually think I've talked to this guy. He's a nice guy. The year of the Linux desktop is and always have been a pipe dream. Yeah, it has, yeah. I've been telling users for years to use the OS that works for you. Exactly. That's what I'm doing, but I don't push my preferences down on other people's throat. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. And here's the thing. If you look at my comment section, the only people that are angry at me are hardcore Linux fans. I will say this, I have gotten, if you look at it from a majority of the, comment section in my channel, on the video, sorry, the majority of people are actually agreeing with me, to some extent, or being neutral. You want to know that I'm not talking shit? This here, 2 years ago, kinda make me wake up, and I'm sorry, Christian, that I'm using this video, but it's a really, really good example. I got many interesting comments from you guys, and I always appreciate the feedback if it's in a respectful and constructive way. So feel free to share your opinion. This is not a place for the hate or harassment, so expect me to jump in and moderate these comments. He is an IT professional working with Ubuntu, Linux and Windows in a professional, and I think he's a security kind of guy or expert also. Probably have deployed more fucking Linux distributions that you have ever run in your fucking penis all the years. That more than your brain cells. And he is explaining why he had to moderate the living shit out of his comment section. Because of harassment, hate, because he didn't share an opinion that the SNICs and Critical Minds sets, or Critical Minds people, and the Dragon Ball, whatever, Jiu-Jitsu people had. I'm not talking shit here, people. I talk to people like him about Linux. There are plenty of videos out there about this exact situation. They are moving to Windows subsystem for Linux. They are why they use Windows over Linux and so on and so on. And they are getting bombarded, harassed by the Linux community. But you don't see that if you're only watching SNIC or DistroTube or Chris Titus Tech or Mental Outlaw or one of those Linux-centric channels. This has been a long one. See you all later. Bye-bye.